No, I didn't want these videos to replace my blog, but as I've mentioned, for whatever reason, it seems that they're more effective. I've written and talked in video about how a network of strangers, operatives, track my movements and attempt to provoke me to a display of anger. Okay. It's been happening ever since I've been in San Francisco at a very intense rate, and it's been going on actually throughout my life. They set me up to have poor impulse control since I was a little kid, which obviously is going to translate to temper problems and other kinds of strange behavior. Things are supposed to be a lot worse for me than they are. I think everyone should maybe take that point and really ruminate on it for a minute and understand that there's a reason I'm not one of these filthy basket cases walking around San Francisco. Okay. But anyway, that's what they do. And a lot of times they ask me about my height. Now, the other day, I think it was last week, and what they've done is they made me an emotional knee-jerk reactionary. Okay. So it's difficult for me to control my responses when they do these things with the full intention of triggering an angry response. Now, last week while I was at my work fair sweeping the street, some gay guy came up to me with a real arrogant smile on his face and asked me about my height. Okay, with the full intention of triggering me to a display of anger. Now, a little bit earlier this afternoon, I ran into him in a totally different part of town. Guess it must be another coincidence, whatever. But I approached him and said, asked him if he wanted to ask about my height, and I got a little clip of it, and here's that clip.
What's up, bruh?
Hi!
Want to ask me about my height again?
I remember you.
Yeah.
Now, after that encounter, we were walking in the same direction up Van Ness, and I was walking ahead of them, and I stopped at the bus stop to catch the 2, heading out to Star and Sea. They stopped at the bus stop as well, but they weren't really near the bus stop. They were leaning on the wall of the building kind of nearby it. And we exchanged a few words. And there were some other people at the bus stop, and after we got there, some woman walked up. And I kind of saw out of the corner of my eye behind me. And I swear to you, he and I were exchanging words, and he turned to her, and he said, "He started it with me." And, I'm like, what does she have to do with it? I asked him, and I asked her, I'm like, please tell me, what do you have to do with this? And none of them would answer me. Okay? And she was just another person on the street who's a complete nobody as far as I'm concerned. I don't know what authority she might have, if any. But here's the whole point. I don't recognize it, whatever they think it is. And there have been a number of occasions where that's happened to me, where I was having an encounter with someone that may have been somewhat heated, these people that try to provoke me. And then a woman shows up as if to monitor it and maybe referee it. It's happened to me several times. It's always a woman. And I posted a video the other day of where I was at a bus stop, and some guy just went belligerent and started swinging at me. You remember it. And it started with him pressing the button for the deaf people's message at the bus stop, and then later we found out he wasn't deaf. And then at the end of that video, there was a woman standing back by the wall at the stop who said, "I wouldn't bother going to the police about that. They won't do anything. I'm a homeless advocate. They won't do anything about it. Don't bother." And she confirmed that she'd witnessed it, though. And I mentioned it because she was one of them, too. Okay, it's always a woman. She was one. I can tell by the way they act. And it's like they know what's going to happen. They know these things exactly when they happen. They show up as if they're there to monitor it, as if they have some sort of authority. It's really bizarre. And you think to yourself, well, they isolated me, and how do you prove it, etc. Well, today, they beat you down. It's like a buffalo job. And today I'm slowly climbing out of this, and I was able to ask him and her, what does she have to do with it? She's just another stranger on the street as far as I'm concerned. I don't recognize any authority she thinks she has. And I got some video of her, Now, here's the thing. Before San Francisco plunges into the sea like a millstone, quote unquote, I'll be bailing out of here. But what I want you guys to do is do your strange little thing you do to communicate with me and answer the following question. Okay? If what this woman and all her friends are doing is legal and sanctioned and ethically correct, etc., etc., then why is she hiding from the camera?
This is weird. This black guy right here. The other day while I was at my work fair, this black guy that just walked away came up to me to ask me about my height, and I just ran into him incidentally. Okay, and I made some comments to him, and then he started explaining to this woman that I started it with him, which is really strange. She's just another person on the street as far as I can see.
So that video is exactly what it is. It's very clear that she was trying to hide from the camera. He confirmed that we'd seen each other before. So it is what it is. Now I'd like to give you a little update on what I know about Cord Meyer. I did that video about him yesterday. And all I knew at the time was what I'd read in a book about Jacqueline Onassis, which was that he was in World War II, lost an eye in a battle in Guam, and then went on to be a high-ranking CIA official and was a proponent of the United World Federalist Organization. And that was all I knew at that point. Then I went online and I read a little bit more about him on Wikipedia. And the shorter the Wikipedia pages, the more I trusted him. This one was a good length. It wasn't too long. And what it says was that, A, that organization is exactly what it sounds like. He was in favor of a world government. And it also mentioned in there that he was a known leftist and that the FBI investigated him. Okay, and that while they were doing that, the CIA did an internal investigation and said they found nothing. All right. Now, the one reality in my situation that is unavoidable, and every time I think about it and try to sort out all the weird things that have been going on in my life, the one conclusion that I've come to and haven't mentioned, that's the most disturbing one of them all, is that socialists and the CIA are working together. Or worse yet, the CIA has been infiltrated and is in large part being controlled or manifested by socialists, as might be suggested by Meyer. There's no getting around it. And here we are with this guy. And as I said, people with one eye have been hovering around me and stalking me and haunting me for the past few years. I've been the subject of a socialist brainwashing mind control experiment. And, apparently JFK had an affair with this guy's wife, Mary Meyer, who was found dead in a park in Washington, D.C. And I've been getting set up my whole life. I said that not only have people with one eye been hovering around me for the past couple of years, but when a guy came into the bar at BW3 when I was working at Ohio State, he came in to set me up to make it look like I was mean to a blind person so that my manager, who's a neo-Nazi, would write me up. Okay? And only one of his eyes was damaged, and that was part of the reason he fooled me. Okay? Before he baited me into saying something like, that's the wrong bill you gave me, can't you see it's a 10? And he wasn't acting blind, that's the whole point. And only one of his eyes was damaged, and he stepped back from the bar, and his cane was hidden behind the bar, and he goes, "Can't you see I'm blind? I got my cane right here." And said it as loud as he could so everybody could hear him. Only one of his eyes was damaged. I wrote about that on my blog. The one thing I might add to that is that I'd read some things online about the CIA, and there was something that said they traveled the world looking for very effective hexes and curses to put on people, and that according to this article I read, that their attitude about it was when they went to visit these people, like in South America or wherever, they would say, all we want is the ones that work. And what they might have done to me that I don't know of, I don't know, but I'll tell you this: when I first moved to New York, I was working at the Bear Bar. And the whole theme of what's being done to me is that they kind of set you up to bait you into a situation to portray you as having done something wrong. And a gypsy, an actual gypsy, came into the Bear Bar one time. I was working at Bear Bar, and kind of used that whole passive-aggressive thing they used to bait me into an argument. And we disagreed about something. She took a step back and goes, "I curse you," And I remember I was working with a guy named Brian Downs, who since has been deceased. But I remember he was like, "Whoa, man, stay away from me," And he was there when it happened, so no more witness to that. But it's a real thing. Yeah. Fuck Cord Meyer.